Hi everyone, thanks very much for joining me. So in this video, quite an exciting one. This last weekend, over the Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I was out thrifting and I found quite a lot. Some of these films are common titles, but nonetheless, I'm sure if you do any thrifting yourself, then you know the excitement of not always knowing what you're going to find and what you can pick up, and at what price as well. So for me, I enjoy movies of all different genres. Definitely when I'm out thrifting, I don't tend to find international movies much, or art house movies or things like that too much, so it's more of the kind of general movies, but nonetheless it's always good fun. I really enjoy it. So I think I will split this video over two parts, because otherwise it could be quite long. So I've basically found just over 50 movies this weekend. So I'll do this as a part one video where I'll just show the DVDs, and then please do come back for part two, which will be all the Blu-rays. And I found quite a few Blu-rays, which is quite unusual for me. So this video, I'll go through the DVDs. There's two box sets that I'll show at the end. So yeah, let's get things going now with The Peacemaker, which was George Clooney's first real movie stardom role after starring in ER, and they put him with Nicole Kidman, and directed by Mimi Leder. It didn't really strike the box office alight, but I quite enjoyed it when I saw this at the cinema. So yeah, The Peacemaker. Next is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, with Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr., and written and directed by Shane Black, the writer of the Lethal Weapon movies. Next, I like finding these TCM 4-packs. So yeah, this is one of their war ones with Battle of the Bulge, The Dawn Patrol, Gunga Din, and John Wayne there in Operation Pacific. And I'll just show you briefly, actually I've got two of these movies already on Laserdisc. And here we are, there's the Battle of the Bulge there with Robert Ryan and Henry Fonda. And The Great Gunga Din, which is an adaptation of a Rudyard Kipling novel. A really great adventure this. You've got Cary Grant there, and Victor McLaglen, and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. Really enjoyable film. Next, actually, this is one I got through eBay, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and I got this actually, I have seen this before, but I actually just went and saw the other day the new multiverse Spider-Man. I won't get into talking about that one much because it's still new and a lot of people haven't seen it yet, but yeah, definitely enjoyed that film, although I definitely do want to watch it again. There's so many things that happen on the screen in that film that it's impossible to take it all in, but yeah, I kind of wished I'd rewatched this slightly just before going to see the new one. Not that it particularly matters, but yeah, I'm glad to now have this again so I can rewatch it. Gone Baby Gone, which was one of the first films that Ben Affleck directed, with his brother there, Casey. Really good drama, this one. And Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. I've seen this loads of times, but actually just don't actually have it in my collection, so I'm glad to now have this one. I know it's seen as one of the weaker Terminator movies, but I still really enjoyed this one. Directed by Jonathan Mostow, who also did the great Kurt Russell thriller Breakdown. Come September, this is with Rock Hudson and Gina Lollobrigida. I like all these kind of 60s fluffy Battle of the Sexes type comedies, particularly the sort of Doris Day and Rock Hudson ones. So yes, I'm sure this will be in a similar kind of vein. A significant thing about this movie is that it also co-stars Sandra Dee. Remember her name from the Grease musical, Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee. But yeah, Sandra Dee is in this, and Bobby Darin. And Bobby Darin, this was his feature film debut, and significantly, he and Sandra Dee got together during the making of this film and married 10 days after it had finished. And then, talking of Sandra Dee and Bobby Darin, here they are again in If a Man Answers, another fluffy 60s Battle of the Sexes comedy. And Woody Allen, perhaps a little bit controversial nowadays, but yeah, this is a really good one from Woody Allen, Husbands and Wives, with another great cast there. It includes the director Sidney Pollack and Joan Davis and Mia Farrow. Now, this is Ridley Scott's The Counselor, and I must admit I thoroughly disliked this film when I first saw it, but with Ridley Scott I'm perhaps prepared to just give it another chance. I know it's kind of a polarizing film. I think there's a lot of people who do enjoy it, but I know I'm not the only one that didn't really enjoy it on a first time around. But a great cast here. You've got Javier Bardem and Brad Pitt and Penelope Cruz. So yeah, I mean, superb cast. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if I like this one this time around. I really didn't enjoy it first time. And then we have The Expendables. I know The Expendables, or The Expend4bles, however you want to pronounce it, is going to be coming out later this year. I think I've only really seen this one before. I don't think I really took to the other two, but I will probably give them a watch. So yeah, The Expendables, and yes, The Expendables 2. Here's an interesting find, a couple of Nicholas Roeg films. So we have Bad Timing and Insignificance, both of these starring Teresa Russell. So yeah, Nicholas Roeg, the director of such films as Walkabout and The Man Who Fell to Earth, and Don't Look Now. So yeah, quite pleased to have this one. This seems to be a sort of Spanish or Portuguese edition, but I did check it and it does play fine. Next up is MacGruber. I originally passed on seeing this when it came at the cinema, but I must admit I do like Kristen Wiig. Particularly enjoyed her last year in that film, what was it, Barb and Star Go to the Vista Del Mar. That was very funny. And actually I'd been listening to Will Forte on an interview and just enjoyed what he had to say. So yeah, I just thought I'd give this one a shot. MacGruber. And Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx in Law-Abiding Citizen, and this one's directed by F. Gary Gray, who did films including The Negotiator. And then we've got a documentary here called Young at Heart, which concerns a very elderly choir who are singing songs which are not the norm. So they get into doing James Brown and Sonic Youth and Coldplay's Fix You. Is that cringeworthy or is it great? I'll find out. And next up is this film, and it's The Cape Town Affair, starring James Brolin and Jacqueline Bisset. Now this film is actually a remake of this one, Pick Up on South Street, which you can get through the Criterion Collection. An absolutely fantastic film here starring Richard Widmark. This one is not meant to be fantastic, but nonetheless, with this cast, Jacqueline Bisset and James Brolin, I'll be interested to see what it's like. Next up, we've got Jason Statham in Crank. I've been seeing a lot of people lately picking up a steelbook of this film that's just had a reissue. But yeah, I'll make do with the DVD. Thanks very much. And we have The Snowman with Michael Fassbender. Now this one got a bit of a critical mauling when it came out, and I haven't seen it, but I want to give it a go. I mean, it is directed by Thomas Alfredson, who's an interesting director. He did the film Let the Right One In, and he also did a fantastic adaptation of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy with Gary Oldman there as George Smiley. And this is produced by Martin Scorsese. Thelma Schoonmaker is actually the editor on this, so I can't help thinking there must be things of interest in it. It's from a Norwegian adaptation of a Norwegian novel by, who is it, Joe Nesbo, beg your pardon. I've not read the novels. I know they're very popular thrillers, so it may be that people were just not happy about how close to the novel this was, or whatever, I don't know, but I'll be interested just to see for myself what it's like. And then here's a film and I kept telling myself, no, put it back, no, put it back, and then another part of my brain goes, yeah, but I like Kristen Stewart, and it's Charlie's Angels. And this for me was a one-star film when I watched it. I really can't explain why I've got it, but there you go. I do like Kristen Stewart, so it's added to the pile. And now on to the two box sets just to end things off. First up, have you seen the film Elvis that was directed by Baz Luhrmann? I quite enjoyed that film, not thoroughly, but I definitely thought the best part of that film was the sequences where they recreated Elvis's '68 comeback special. So with that in mind, I was very pleased to find this, which is Elvis, the '68 comeback special. But it's a little bit more than that. Now the '68 comeback special, when it was aired on NBC back in December '68, I think it was like an hour-long TV special. But actually, the making of that TV special was quite a prolonged affair. So we actually have Elvis that was involved on doing 2 sit-down concerts, 2 stand-up concerts, a special filming for the opening sequence and a special filming of the closing sequence, as well as some promos and things like that. So all of that footage is captured in this very lavish 3-disc set here. So disc 1 is almost 3 hours long, disc 2 has 50 minutes, and disc 3 is also close to 3 hours. So there is a ton of footage here which did not all reach the TV screens because it's all outtakes. And it also comes here with, where is it? I'm trying to look at you as well as take things out here. This little booklet as well, which goes through what's on each of the discs. So yeah, I was very pleased to find this. I do enjoy Elvis a lot. I've enjoyed all the Elvis movies, but his music as well. Significant part of my growing up. My uncle was very much into Elvis and tried to look like him as well, with big sideburns and all that kind of thing. But very thrilled to have this one. So this was a very good find, I think. And then finally a set, and at this point I just want to mention another YouTuber, and his name's John. He has a channel, Plaid X2, and please do go and check his channel out. Now John, I know he's a big fan of Jean Arthur, but he's also a fan of Gary Cooper, and just recently he did a video on his channel to talk about the films in his collection that he has of Gary Cooper, and he was also asking for some recommendations of other films that he should pick up. So I'm speaking to John a little bit at this point if he's watching, just to show him this. But yeah, this was a set that I managed to pick up at the weekend, and it is Gary Cooper, the Signature Collection. And so what we have here is 5 films. We have this one, which is Sergeant York, which I'm aware that John already has this one, but yeah, this is certainly a classic for Gary Cooper. This edition actually has 2 discs. It includes some documentaries and some cartoons as well, and various trailers and shorts. But yeah, nice edition here. We have this film, Dallas, which I'm particularly interested in because of actually this actress here, which is Barbara Payton. She had a very troubled kind of life and career, and didn't really get any great success in her career, and had a quite short life. But she's in films such as the Hammer film, The Four-Sided Triangle. Yeah, like I say, she's not particularly known for her acting, but nonetheless it's going to be interesting to see what she's like in this film. I haven't seen Dallas before, so glad to have this one. And then we have this one, which is Springfield Rifle, another great cover there. And this one, The Fountainhead, in which Gary Cooper stars alongside Patricia Neal. Now this one I do have on Laserdisc, and I'll just show you that. My lovely looking Laserdisc here. Isn't that a nice cover? And it also opens out here. There you go. And then the last one here is The Wreck of the Mary Dear, which was the penultimate film that Gary Cooper made in 1958, I think it was, alongside Charlton Heston. Now, interestingly, Gary Cooper's 2 final films were directed by Michael Anderson, who was the director of Around the World in 80 Days and Logan's Run. So, yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing this one for sure. And then finally, just sticking on the Gary Cooper theme just for one moment, just to show, this isn't something I picked up, but just to show John, this is my Laserdisc box set of High Noon. Really nice edition, this. There's the back of it. And inside you get this nice art card, as well as step back a bit now, this rather wonderful poster. Okay, so there you go. Those are my DVD finds from the weekend, plus a few extras there just for extra measure. But please do stay tuned. I will be coming back with a part 2 video, which will be all the Blu-rays. And there's, like I say, there's probably about 25 of those. Some of those are still sealed. So yeah, join me again. Thanks very much for joining me on this one. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed that. Come back for more. Okay, I'll see you again. Bye-bye.